Hey guys, Coach Mike here. Welcome back to the Ask Learning Leaders show. We are here on episode 5 and we are delighted to come back to you from our home here in Shanghai. We just spent a week in Pittsburgh, surprisingly sunny and beautiful. Big thanks to Shadyside Academy in Pittsburgh and Mary and Kate for hosting us there for the World Individual Debate and Public Speaking Championships. We brought 2 students who you saw on last week's episode of the Ask Learning Leaders show, Katie and Alex. They had a great time there. We've also had some recent competitions here in Shanghai. We sent a team of 3 ferocious debaters, Ray, Renee, and Catherine. They went to a competition in Nanjing and battled it out against some of China's best debate teams. They came in 3rd place overall, and Ray came in with a big 6th place overall Best Speaker award. So big shout out to those guys. And also you gotta check out Ray's new mixtape, dropping very soon on the iTunes store. Also, CEDO, the Shanghai International Debate Open. 2 students, Cindy and Alina, they competed against a field of college and university students, and they missed the break for the second day by just 1 point. So we have some incredible competitive results recently for Learning Leaders students all around the world, and we're delighted to come back to you now again from Shanghai. So we have even more competitions coming up. The Learning Leaders May Day competition, April 30th and May 1st. If you haven't signed up already, check out this QR code here, and we're gonna get you linked up to the event. May 14th and 15th, NSDA Shanghai round. The following weekend, National High School Debate League of China event. So many awesome competitions coming your way, so many chances to participate, so many chances to improve. All right, speaking of improvements, let's get right into the questions because that's what you guys are here for. And we're gonna have our first question right here.
Hi, I'm Poem and I'm from SAS, and my question is, why should we learn parliamentary debate and how is it different as in helping our lives as to public forum debate?
Great question, Poem. Awesome question. So she's asking about parliamentary debate and public forum debate and what are the differences between the styles and how do they help us in life, it sounds like the question is. So first, really quickly, let's just recap. Public forum debate is usually a US-centric style. You have 2 speakers on each team. The speaking times are 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. It's a heavily researched, focused activity. You usually have 1 resolution for an entire tournament or weekend, and sometimes for an entire season, depending on what league you're in. And so it's what we have in a modified version for a lot of our middle school debaters here on the debate team at Learning Leaders. Parliamentary debate, on the other hand, is usually for slightly older students. It's a slightly more complex activity because you have less time to prepare. Usually in public forum, you'll know weeks or months before the competition. Parliamentary, you get your resolution 20, 30, 40 minutes before you compete. The topics are usually a little bit broader. And so what you're talking about is less specific research or analytical views on a certain topic, but generally a little bit more thematic. Now, that's not to say you can't have any analysis in that topic, but what it means is that as a debater, you need to be well versed on lots of current events, on themes, and be able to creatively draw on what you know and then apply it to the topic that you're given, because you have no clue what the resolution is going to be until maybe half an hour before the event. So one other big difference we want to keep in mind is that in public forum style, a lot of the clash comes from the crossfire round, when 1 member of each team will stand up and ask questions and volley back and forth. In parliamentary debate, you have something known as POIs, or points of information. So when someone is speaking, a member of the opposition can just stand up in the middle of their speech and politely interrupt them and ask a question, to which point the speaker must respond and address it before moving on. So that's a slight difference as well. So keeping all these things in mind, where public forum really helps build skill sets in debaters is in organization and research and case construction. Because you have so long to write and research your cases, a lot of the emphasis on what wins in public forum debates is evidence and analysis of this evidence. In fact, some debaters will even read out their entire first or second speaker's speech rather than looking at the judge when they present it. And that just shows very clearly that the focus of public forum is all about the content, the evidence, and the research. Parliamentary, on the other hand, is much more about extemporaneous speaking. It's much more about thinking on your feet, reacting quickly, dropping on a dime and changing your focus of the debate, and working with a teammate under duress. You have a very short amount of time to prepare. And so parliamentary debate are not for those with a weak stomach. It's tough stuff, and that's why we usually keep it for high school students. So poem, public forum debate, research, organization, argumentation, parliamentary debate, reacting quickly, public speaking, rhetoric, and quick case construction with the help of current events. Awesome question. And cool to think about, poem. Again, thanks for asking the question. At the May Day competition on April 30th and May 1st, we actually have 2 divisions. So you can enroll or you can sign up in either public forum or parliamentary, but not both. So one or the other. Keep that in mind. All right, next question here.
My name is Abhishek and I'm from Reading School in the United Kingdom. I'd like to ask Learning Leaders, what is your preferred structure for an impromptu speech?
Abhishek, thank you very much, coming at us all the way from the UK. Really appreciate your question. Thanks a lot. When it comes time to speak in an impromptu speaking event, there are a number of different formats that speakers can use. They can use a comparison format, they can use a past, present, future format, they can use a narrative format, they could talk about a personal narrative, a personal story. What we see many times in international competitions, such as WIDPSC, where Abhishek just competed and represented the country of England. So big ups to you, Abhishek, and the Reading School. One of the things that we see a lot is a format that I'll refer to as the Canadian Classic. And in the impromptu speech, you have in between 3 and 5 minutes to reply very quickly to a prompt that you're just given a moment ago. And the Canadian Classic format is share a personal story, introduce yourself, talk about 3 points or 3 examples in history that support your point, and then tie it all back up into your personal narrative or into your larger theme. Now, this is super impressive for young adults and older members of the debate and public speaking community who can do this on a regular basis. Speaking in an impromptu competition is not easy, and that's why referencing external examples, whether they be from literature or history or pop culture or science or anything, it's really impressive to be able to, on a dime, pick out that example and relate it to your ideal or your theme, your thesis in this impromptu. One realization I had recently was that at this event, the Worlds, what we see is the students who move from the open rounds to the finals are the ones who are incredibly organized in their approach. They're the ones who can do this Canadian Classic at will and routinely draw in a lot of cool external examples. The ones that really impressed the judges later on though in the competition were ones who took a little bit more of a personal approach to the exercise. So maybe they spent longer on the personal narrative, or they really tied it in with some emotional appeal to the audience. Maybe they threw away the organization altogether, and the audience didn't know what their topic was until the final 30 seconds, when they tied it all in together and then blew away the audience with actually the way that they were able to creatively approach this subject. So Abhishek, I would say that in order to be a really good or a great impromptu speaker, following a clear and rigorous signposted format is your best friend. If you want to be an exceptional impromptu speaker, mastering the basics and the fundamentals to get you there is important, but adding something of your own, adding something creative and adding something special will truly make you exceptional. So thanks for the question and hope to hear from you guys in the UK more often. All right, and then the final question.
Hi, I'm Wayne, I'm from SAS, and my question for Learning Leaders is, what is the meaning of life? Thank you.
All right, Wayne, thank you. Keeping it easy, I see. All right, what is the meaning of life? It's whatever you make it, Wayne. You just need to do you, all right? I don't know, man. That's a really tough question. Obviously, there are greater men than all of us who have sought the answers to this and failed to find a satisfactory answer. Philosophers and theologians from the dawn of time have been seeking the answer to this question. I can only give you mine, and my answer to that is to learn and to improve the world and the community around you. So I think that the meaning of life is to make the world a better place when you leave the planet than when you were born. And that's honestly the only answer that I can give you, Wayne. If you consistently and continually improve the lives of people around you, make your community a better place, brighten the day of people all around you, leave people with smiles on their faces, and leave them with positive memories of you, then I think you're doing the best you can. So thanks for the tough question. That was a tough one. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. All right, so now on to the quotation of the day.
Quotation of the day!
All right, Patrick, thank you. That is insane. I love that. Yeah, you little guy. All right, so the quotation of the day today comes from Dan Roam, R-O-A-M, and he is a business psychologist and a best-selling author. And he's most famous for something that I believe he does in the New York Times. You might have to fact check that. I think it's New York Times. It's a segment where he draws graphs and charts on the back of a napkin. So just with a few lines or a few movements of his Sharpie, he's able to construct a chart or an image that neatly represents a much more complex issue. And so he's famous for simplifying the super complex. And what Rome says is, he who is best able to describe the problem is the one who is most likely to solve it. And that's something that I think really neatly encapsulates a lot of what we do in debate and public speaking. It's being able to ask the right questions, being able to approach a problem with rigorous analysis and find out what are the key aspects of this problem that need to be addressed. What are the core impacts of the problem and who is it going to affect? And so Rome's quotation, I think, really is something that we can remember as debaters, because if we are better able than our opponents to describe what this debate is truly about, what is the conflict, who are the stakeholders, and what is the impact of this debate, if either side is to walk away victorious, I think that's 90% of the way to winning the debate. If you're able to be clearer than your opposition in describing the problem, you're definitely more likely to be able to solve it in the judges' minds. So, debaters and public speakers out there, let's keep Rome's advice in mind next time we go out to a competition. All right, I think that's all the time we have for today. No more questions, so thanks for tuning in to the Ask Learning Leaders show, and we'll see you next time for episode 6.